Steve McQueen secretly performed the most dangerous stunt in cinema history 3 times. He chased himself through Nazi Germany. He got arrested by German police while filming a movie about escaping Germans. And he rewrote the entire Great Escape just to show off on a motorcycle. These are the 20 secrets the King of Cool kept hidden for 60 years. Behind the scenes of one of cinema's greatest war adventures, the King of Cool was living up to his reputation in ways that would shock audiences and frustrate his co-stars. What you're about to discover reveals not just the making of a legendary film, but the creation of the Steve McQueen mythology itself. The Great Escape premiered at London's Odeon Leicester Square on June 20th, 1963, and immediately established Steve McQueen as Hollywood royalty. See, what audiences didn't know was that McQueen had nearly walked off the production entirely, secretly performed stunts the insurance company banned him from doing, and even chased himself in one of cinema's most famous motorcycle sequences. The truth behind this classic is far stranger than the fiction it presents. Let's start with the most explosive revelation. McQueen actually did perform that legendary motorcycle jump over the barbed wire fence, just not on camera. Second unit director Robert Relia revealed years later that McQueen was so frustrated by the insurance company's refusal to let him do the stunt that he secretly performed it during his own time, away from the cameras, just to prove to himself he could do it. The man who became famous for doing his own stunts couldn't resist the challenge, even when contractually forbidden. This wasn't about the movie. This was about McQueen's ego and his need to prove he was as tough as his screen persona suggested. But here's where it gets even stranger. In the chase sequence leading up to that jump, McQueen wasn't just playing the escaped American prisoner Virgil Hiltz. He was also playing his own pursuer. Through careful camera angles and editing, McQueen dressed as a German soldier and literally chased himself through the Bavarian countryside. The man running from the Nazis was also the Nazi chasing him. Even more bizarre, when his character Hiltz strings a wire across the road to steal a motorcycle, McQueen played the German motorcyclist who crashes into that wire. He was simultaneously the hero and his own victim. The technical achievement of this self-chase was remarkable, requiring precise timing and choreography to create the illusion of 2 separate performers. The secrets began even before filming started. McQueen only agreed to take the role on one condition: he had to show off his motorcycle skills. The entire motorcycle sequence wasn't based on any real escape attempt. It was pure Hollywood invention, written specifically because Steve McQueen demanded it. The real Great Escape involved tunnels, forged documents, and carefully planned routes through Nazi-occupied territory. There were no motorcycles, no dramatic chases, and certainly no death-defying jumps. McQueen essentially blackmailed the producers into creating an entirely fictional action sequence just to satisfy his ego. The historical prisoners who risked their lives in the actual escape might have been horrified to see their story transformed into a motorcycle stunt show, but audiences loved every minute of it. When McQueen saw the early footage, he realized his character disappeared from the film for 30 minutes in the middle act. His response was characteristically dramatic. He walked off set and refused to return unless the script was rewritten. James Garner later revealed that McQueen wanted to be the clear hero of the film, but didn't want to do anything that seemed overtly heroic, which contradicted his character's cool detachment. Director John Sturges considered writing McQueen out of the story completely, but United Artists considered him indispensable and hired an additional writer just to appease the star's demands. And the production ground to a halt while screenwriters scrambled to create more McQueen-centric scenes. The motorcycle that made that famous jump wasn't even German. McQueen, being an avid biker with a deep appreciation for Triumph motorcycles, insisted on using his preferred British bikes. The production used several 1961 Triumph TR6 trophies, modified to look like the BMW R75S that were common during World War II. McQueen's personal preference literally changed the historical accuracy of the film, but nobody cared because the chase looked spectacular. The bikes were painted German military colors and fitted with fake German insignia, but underneath they were pure British engineering, exactly what McQueen preferred to ride. Here's a secret that sounds too wild to be true. During filming in Bavaria, German police set up a speed trap near the set. Several cast and crew members were caught speeding, including McQueen himself. The chief of police told him, "Herr McQueen, we have caught several of your comrades today, but you have won the prize for the highest speeding." McQueen was actually arrested and briefly jailed by German authorities while making a movie about escaping from German captivity. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The production had to temporarily halt while the studio negotiated McQueen's release, adding yet another delay to an already troubled shoot. Co-star Tom Adams, who played RAF officer Di Nimmo, put it bluntly. Steve McQueen was as mad as a hatter. He wrote off 6 or 7 cars out there. McQueen's reckless driving during production became legendary among the cast and crew, who watched in amazement as their leading man treated expensive vehicles like disposable toys. The insurance adjusters must have been pulling their hair out watching McQueen destroy vehicle after vehicle in his pursuit of automotive thrills between takes. The famous jump itself involved not 1 but 3 different riders. McQueen's friend and stunt double Bud Ekins performed the official stunt that made it into the film, jumping 12 feet high and descending 65 feet at 60 miles per hour. But McQueen and Australian motocross champion Tim Gibbies both secretly performed the identical stunt just to prove they could do it. According to Robert Relia, any of the 3 jumps could have been used in the final cut. The most dangerous stunt in the film was performed 3 times by 3 different men, all driven by pure competitive machismo. Each man risked serious injury or death, not for the movie, but for personal pride. Bud Ekins later described the moment of the jump. When I took off, I throttled right back and it was silent. Everything was just silent. The whole crew and everything was just silent. And then when I landed, they cheered like crazy. That single stunt launched Ekins' Hollywood career. He went on to double for McQueen in Bullet and perform much of the motorcycle work on the television series Chips. One jump changed his entire life, transforming him from McQueen's buddy into one of Hollywood's most sought-after stunt performers. When Johnny Carson tried to congratulate McQueen for the jump on The Tonight Show, McQueen surprised everyone by admitting the truth. It wasn't me. That was Bud Ekins, but he also revealed his regret. I always felt a little guilty about that. A lot of people thought it was me making that jump, but I've never tried to hide the truth about it. I could handle the jump now, I'm sure. Back in '62, I just didn't have the savvy. This rare moment of McQueen honesty showed a vulnerable side the public rarely saw. A man secure enough to admit his limitations, while confident enough to claim he'd overcome them. The production had its share of behind-the-scenes drama beyond McQueen's antics. Charles Bronson, who played the Tunnel King, suffered from real claustrophobia due to his previous work as a coal miner. His fear wasn't acting, it was genuine terror captured on film. Bronson also brought his mining expertise to the set, and advising director John Sturgis on how to properly move earth during the tunnel scenes. His childhood spent crawling through Pennsylvania coal mines gave him expertise that no research could replicate, and Sturgis eventually learned to listen to Bronson's technical suggestions about underground work. Donald Pleasence, who played the forger Colin Blythe, had actually been a Royal Air Force pilot during World War II. He was shot down, captured, and tortured by the Germans. When he offered technical advice to John Sturgis, he was politely told to keep his opinions to himself. Only later, when another cast member informed Sturgis of Pleasence's real wartime experience, did the director realize he had been dismissing advice from an actual former prisoner of war. The embarrassment must have been acute. I'd imagine telling a real POW survivor that he didn't understand what prison camp was like. The film's historical accuracy was questionable in other ways, too. Americans weren't part of the real Great Escape at all. They had been moved to a different compound before the escape plan was finalized. The actual breakout involved primarily British, Canadian, Australian, and Polish airmen. McQueen and James Garner were playing characters who never existed, in sequences that never happened, during an escape they never could have participated in. The American presence was pure Hollywood invention, designed to make the film more marketable to United States audiences who might not pay to see a purely British war story. Even the barbed wire throughout the film was handmade by the cast and crew. During idle periods, then everyone from major stars to production assistants spent their time knotting thin 5-inch strings of black rubber around longer strings to create the coils and fences seen throughout the movie. Steve McQueen, James Garner, and Charles Bronson all spent hours creating the very obstacles their characters would later navigate. This communal craft project created an unusual bonding experience among cast members who might otherwise have remained isolated in their trailers between scenes. McQueen drew on painful personal experience for his scenes in solitary confinement. During the 14 months he spent at the California Junior Boys Republic Reform School as a teenager, he was put in solitary 5 times. Those Those memories of isolation and confinement informed his performance as the cooler king, adding genuine psychological weight to what could have been simple punishment scenes. McQueen knew what it felt like to be locked away, to count the days, to maintain sanity through sheer force of will. That authenticity shines through in every frame of his solitary confinement sequences. The relationship between McQueen and Richard Attenborough was notoriously difficult. Attenborough later revealed that working with McQueen was one of the hardest things he'd ever done, and that they simply didn't get along. Despite their professional success together in The Great Escape and later in The Sand Pebbles, the two actors maintained a chilly relationship throughout their careers. Attenborough, the consummate professional British actor, clashed constantly with McQueen's rebellious American approach to filmmaking. Their different philosophies created constant tension on set. James Garner had a more complex view of his co-star. In his memoir, The Garner Files, he wrote that while he considered McQueen a friend, the actor could be a pain in the ass on set and wasn't an actor, but a movie star. Garner admitted McQueen was difficult because of his massive ego, but still liked him personally. It was Garner who convinced McQueen not to quit the production when his demands weren't immediately met. Garner understood McQueen in ways other cast members couldn't. Both were American outsiders in a largely British production, both valued authenticity over technique, and both understood the economics of star power. Charles Bronson found romance during the production, though it came at a cost to his co-star. He met and fell in love with David McCallum's wife, Jill Ireland, and jokingly told McCallum he was going to steal her away. It wasn't really a joke. In 1967, Ireland divorced McCallum and married Bronson, a relationship that lasted until Ireland's death in 1990. The affair that began on The Great Escape set became one of Hollywood's most enduring marriages, though it destroyed McCallum's first marriage in the process. The real prisoners had built a fourth tunnel called George that wasn't revealed until many years after the film's release. The movie makers had no knowledge of this additional escape route, showing how much about the actual event remained classified long after the war ended. British military intelligence kept certain details secret for decades, worried that revealing too much about prisoner ingenuity might compromise future operations if another war occurred. Even the casting held secrets. Richard Harris was originally set to play Big X, the role that eventually went to Richard Attenborough. Harris dropped out because filming on This Sporting Life was behind schedule, and he was unhappy with script changes that diminished the role's importance. His departure opened the door for Attenborough's career-defining performance. Harris would later regret the decision, watching Attenborough earn acclaim for a role he'd abandoned. The film's success was partly due to an incredible coincidence that nobody planned. The actual Great Escape from Stalag Luft 3 occurred on March 24, 1944, which happened to be Steve McQueen's 14th birthday. The man who would later star in the film's dramatization had been celebrating his birthday on the exact day the real prisoners were breaking free from Nazi captivity. This cosmic connection between McQueen and the historical event felt almost predetermined, as if fate had selected him 2 decades earlier to eventually tell this story. Wally Floody, the real-life tunnel king who served as technical advisor on the film, had nearly died multiple times during the construction of the actual tunnels. He was almost buried alive twice while building the passages that lay 10 meters underground and extended more than 100 meters. Floody worked with the filmmakers for over a year, bringing authentic details to scenes that recreated the most dangerous moments of his wartime experience. See, his presence on set reminded everyone that beneath the Hollywood glamour and McQueen's ego, they were telling the story of real men who had risked everything for freedom. The film's budget of $4 million generated box office receipts of $11.7 million, making it one of the highest-grossing films of 1963. But the real treasure was McQueen's performance, which critic Leonard Maltin called the standout of an excellent international cast. The role cemented McQueen's status as a superstar and created the king of cool image that defined him for the rest of his tragically short life. Every rebellious character he played afterward was measured against Virgil Hiltz, the cool American who refused to be broken. McQueen died in 1980 at age 50, but The Great Escape remained his most iconic role. The secrets he kept about the production, his secret stunt work, his on-set conflicts, his demands for script changes, even his brief imprisonment by German police, only enhanced the legend. He had played a character trying to escape from captivity while living his own form of rebellious imprisonment within Hollywood's studio system. McQueen was always fighting against something: studios, directors, insurance companies, historical accuracy, anything that tried to contain him. The Great Escape endures not just as great entertainment, but as a monument to Steve McQueen's complicated genius. He was an actor who couldn't be contained by scripts, insurance policies, or even historical accuracy. Like his character Virgil Hilts, McQueen was always looking for a way out, always planning the next escape, and always pushing against the fences that others built around him. The secrets he kept quiet for decades reveal a man as complex and contradictory as the characters he played, and infinitely more fascinating than the smooth, cool image he projected to the world. The film stands as proof of what happens when unbridled ego meets undeniable talent. McQueen's demands transformed a straightforward war story into something more American, more action-packed, more commercially viable. His motorcycle sequences, invented from whole cloth and inserted against historical accuracy, became the film's most memorable moments. His performance, informed by real childhood trauma and adult insecurity, gave Virgil Hilts a depth that mere acting technique couldn't achieve. These 20 secrets don't diminish The Great Escape. May they explain why it works so brilliantly. McQueen's chaos created magic. His rebellion against the studio system paradoxically created one of Hollywood's most beloved films. His refusal to be just another actor in an ensemble cast forced everyone around him to raise their game. The secrets reveal the truth. Sometimes the most difficult artists create the most enduring art, and sometimes the biggest troublemakers leave the greatest legacy.